Hey everyone, welcome back to the KLT Fitcast. My name is Kate. This is Josh. Together, we own and operate a private fitness studio in Peterborough, Ontario, offering personal training, small group, larger group. We also offer a lot of virtual programming. Anyway, this podcast is all about asking and answering the tough questions, giving you real life tools that you can take away as soon as you've finished listening or watching. Yeah.
I'm Josh. Kate introduced me, but I guess I'll, dive in and say who I am. I've worked in the mental health field for over 10 years. I try to tie in all of the really cool fitness stuff that Kate brings to the podcast with a bit of a look into how that impacts us day to day and how it can affect our own mental health.
Yeah. Why don't we take a second to talk about why our studio, our gym is different than some of the other ones? Curveball. Throwing that in. So our studio is a fully private studio, meaning everyone who comes through the doors is booked to be here. What we offer?
This is really strength focused.
Yes, always strength focused, adding in little bits of cardio to keep us humble and for good heart health. But we try to create a space that gives you a safe place to try hard things, including gym equipment that sometimes would feel a little bit scary or daunting. A lot of times people join a gym thinking that they're going to have really great transformations, and one, they either don't use that gym membership, or two, they go and they stay on an elliptical or a treadmill because those are safe options.
Yeah, it's just what's comfortable because it's what most people know. It's pretty easy to hop on a treadmill or an elliptical and press go and just get moving. It's an entirely different thing to get underneath a barbell and
Or
do a
leg
squat.
press. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's important to recognize that being strong likely means a longer, more independent life.
Yeah, absolutely. Like as you age, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just in life in general.
Yeah.
Like I can think of lots of 40-plus-year-olds that I know that are not, I wouldn't consider them strong. And to try and do like a couple sets of stairs, they're going to wait for the elevator.
Yeah. So true. So I think what separates us as coaches and business owners here is our level of care. One, for the programming that we offer with all of our coaches, and two, the community focused aspect. If someone isn't here, we notice.
Yeah, people notice.
We notice. People notice. We are calling you to check in, to ask what's going on. Obviously, like a session this, like if someone is not here at a boot camp, that's like one session. But if it's a repeat thing, then yeah, people are going to be calling you out in a good way. I think me specifically as a coach, and you as well, there are a lot of trainers and a lot of coaches out there in the world, and they can provide great programming. But I think that what separates us from the rest is that we are really, really, really relatable. Here at this gym in general, your body can be seen, your age demographic can be seen, your physical abilities can be seen within the community and also within the coaches that provide that programming. We've been there. We've navigated the same kind of struggles that a lot of the clients have who come through the door. So anyway, that's my ramble. Onward to the episode.
Yeah.
That was not scripted whatsoever.
No, that was neat. I had no heads up for that. I think the episode today that we're going to do is talk about a cool, unique opportunity that you got to do this morning.
Yeah.
So tell me, how did this come about at first? Because it's kind of a weird, interesting story and really a little bit funny.
Yeah. It was like what, a month and a half ago?
Yeah,
maybe 6 weeks ago, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. I got a message to my business Facebook page.
Yeah.
And it was from a man who said, I work for an ad agency. We are looking for an upcoming collaboration.
Yeah.
Can I give you a call?
And I got a screenshot of this message.
I sent it to Josh and I was like, scam, right? Totally a scam. Yeah, what kind of Bitcoin, what kind of money shall I send you?
Yeah. And my response was, what have you got to lose by taking a phone call?
Don't give your credit card.
Yeah. Don't give your credit card information.
um, yeah, so I can't remember if he gave me his number or if I gave mine. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Honestly, either way, my phone rang 10 seconds later and I was like, "Ugh, it's a human. It's a human on the other end of this phone. It's a guy from an ad agency and they want me to speak at 3 different locations as part of a very local small business, their 100-year celebration.
Yeah. And focused on women's health and
Yes.
wellness.
So part of their 100-year anniversary, they're doing a number of events, but this one is focused around women's health and wellness, um, with an emphasis on sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So they asked me to come and provide, they called it TED Talks. I'm like, oh, TED Talks, fine, cool. We're going to call it a Kate Talk. Yeah, so this morning was the first one, our local Peterborough location. And then in the coming months, I will be going to the other locations and speaking at them for, yeah, kind of cool. It's
Yeah.
never, that's not something that I ever saw for myself.
It was on my vision board.
Was it?
Yeah. You to do motivational speaking? Absolutely. Because you're so relatable.
Yeah. I guess I still think of myself as like just Kate. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
okay, I lost weight and we own a pretty cool space here in Peterborough, but I'm still just Kate.
Yeah.
And another thing that now I'm thinking about and reflecting on it. Yes, once I weighed like 300 pounds, but that isn't so much my story anymore. Yes, it's a part of the story. It's the transformation physically.
Yeah. And I think yes, it's not so much of the story anymore, but it's the foundation of the story.
Yeah, it's why the story is a story, I guess.
Yeah. And I think you can't have the message that you have for people now without
Hmm.
the experience you had before.
Hmm. So yeah, so it was like a free event. They advertised for it. I shared it. We tried to fill a room. Um,
Yeah.
they
It was fun.
It was great.
Yeah.
When we arrived, it made me feel really good to know that the Peterborough location what had like the most signups, the busiest
Yeah.
one. That made me
Yeah.
feel really good. Um, yeah, so I talked for what, like 20, 30 minutes.
I would say it was at least 30 minutes. You're going to get to hear what Kate said in a few minutes because part of this is going to be Kate reading her monologue, speech,
TED Talk.
Kate talk,
Kate Talk.
however you want to label it. And then I think afterwards, I'm going to ask some of the questions that were asked after your talk from people that were in the audience. And then I'm going to ask some questions about how the experience has been for you.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
So stick around for that. But I guess without, wasting any more time,
Just opening my
well,
folder here that I wasn't Josh. I wanted to take my speech out of here so I could flip pages. And he's like, no, keep it in there. Be a professional.
yeah, it looks professional when you have it in a little booklet. So if you want to go ahead and read your
Like
speech,
read it just as it is.
yeah, do you want me to interrupt you and ask things as you go, or do you want to just go through the whole thing?
Um, I feel like you can interrupt. That's fine. Yeah. Like
You sure?
I don't know. It's up to you. I feel like it would break up my voice from people having to hear me just fucking ramble on here. I didn't
Okay.
drop a single F bomb.
No, not one swear in the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But also you had a good speechwriter, so.
Come on. I'll give you a lot of credit. You really helped with it.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yeah. As you do everything. This entire thing, this whole place, as much as people say that my ugly mug is the face of this brand, like
I just hide behind you and
nice.
shove you into the light.
Nice.
That's pretty much exactly
Nice.
how it goes. Yeah.
It's up to you. If you feel like in the moment, yeah, like I don't care. This is whatever.
Yeah. No, I think I'll let you go. I think the message that you have for people is really quite good and worth hearing without interruption. And then I'll ask questions after.
And this time I can actually just stare at my notes.
Yeah.
I tried really hard.
Most people listen to this.
I tried really hard not
There are
to.
some people that watch it on YouTube, but most people,
If you can't, if you're not watching on YouTube, just know that I'm waving to the camera right now.
yeah.
Okay. So I started this speech by saying, when I talk, when I present, this is the second time I've ever presented anything in my whole life. I don't like to, actually, no, I guess I've done a few.
Yeah, you've done a few of these. Yeah.
Okay. I shouldn't sell myself short. Um, I don't like to throw all of the numbers, all of the research. Yes, there's a lot of science based stuff within this, but when I talk, I want it to be raw conversation, relatable conversation, in hopes to kind of just inspire people to take control of their lives.
Hmm. Yeah. So what I want you to do now is, if you're listening to this, is imagine Kate talking to you and only you right now.
Okay.
Go.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kate. And before I begin, I want to tell you one thing. I see you. I see the women in this room who showed up today, even though your to-do list is a mile long. I see the ones who almost didn't come today because you talked yourself out of it 3 times in the car. I see the ones who are here because someone dragged you. And I see the ones who are here because something inside you said that you maybe needed this. Whatever brought you through that door, I'm glad you're here. And I want you to know that what I'm about to share with you isn't a lecture. It's not a fitness pitch. It's not a list of things that you should be doing better. It's just my story. And I'm telling it because I wish that someone had told me theirs when I was at my lowest. Insert joke. It's actually my heaviest, which is the pun. But a few years ago, not all that long ago, I was almost 300 pounds. I was in chronic pain. I couldn't walk up the stairs in my own house without losing my breath. Tying my shoes was a production. Getting up off the floor felt like a workout in itself. And I'm not telling you this to shock you or set up some big dramatic before and after. I'm telling you this because that was my real life every single day. My former career was in a kindergarten classroom, and I, full stop, could not keep up with the children that I was responsible for caring for. Red flags. I was stuck, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. I felt invisible. I wanted to be invisible. I felt like my body was this thing that I was trapped inside of, and I'd completely disconnected from it. I didn't look in mirrors. I avoided photos. I'd cancel plans because I didn't want to be seen. The hardest part about all of that was that I smiled through all of it. On the outside, everything looked fine, but on the inside, I was drowning. I think a lot of women in this room probably know what that feels like. Maybe not in the same way. Maybe your version of it looks completely different than mine. But that feeling of carrying something heavy and smiling through it anyway, I think that's something most of us can understand. I think every person who's been through something like this has a moment, not necessarily a big dramatic one. Sometimes it's quiet. For me, it was realizing that I didn't want to just survive anymore. I wanted to actually live. I wanted to keep up with the people I loved. I wanted to feel like myself again, even though I wasn't really sure who that was. I had also seen a photo of myself after a friend's wedding wearing a purple dress. And now we like to refer to that as my purple dress moment. Um, it's the moment, that photo is when I knew that I needed to change. I knew that I had let things get too far. I knew that I wasn't myself. I didn't recognize the person who was in that photo. So I signed up for an 8-week weight loss challenge. That's it. That was the whole big, brave move. 8 weeks? I didn't have a plan beyond that. Certainly didn't believe in myself. I didn't have a vision board or a transformation goal. I just thought, 8 weeks, what did I have to lose? By the end of those 8 weeks, I'd lost 28 pounds and 32 inches. But honestly, the number wasn't the thing that changed me. What changed me was realizing that I was capable of more than I'd been telling myself. For years, I had this narrative running in my head that I wasn't the kind of person who could do this, that I'd tried and failed too many times, that my body was just broken. And in 8 weeks, that story started to crack. Now, here's the part that nobody talks about, and I think it's the part that matters the most: the middle. It's messy. It's not a straight line. It's not 8 weeks or 16 weeks of perfection followed by a magazine cover or a bodybuilding show. I stumbled. I had weeks where I gained weight. I had days where I ate everything in sight and felt awful about it. I had moments where I wanted to quit because the progress felt so painfully slow. This is where I want to be really honest with you because the world will sell you the idea that transformation is about willpower and discipline and grinding it out whether or not you want to. But it's not. It's about showing up imperfectly again and again and again. And guess what? A couple more times after that, and learning to be okay with that. It's about progress over perfection. And I know that that phrase gets thrown around a lot, even by me, but I really want you to hear me when I say it because it's what saved me. Stacking those days of progress and consistency matter far more than one perfect day. I'd spent my whole life chasing perfection with food and diets, with how I looked. I had tried every fad out there, done the A to Z, the restrictions. If you can think of a fad, I had tried it. I'd cut carbs, restrict calories until I could barely function. Those are the big ones. Every time I would lose weight, feel amazing for a few weeks, and then crash because that approach was not sustainable. It was punishment dressed up as progress. What finally worked was the opposite of all of that. I stopped restricting and started learning. I learned how to eat in a way that fueled me instead of punishing me. I focused on consistency instead of intensity. I stopped looking for the quick fix and started building habits that I could actually keep for the rest of my life. And that shift from chasing results to trusting the process was the real transformation. Not the weight loss, but the mindset. Okay, next. How many times have you felt the need to punish yourself? Maybe after a weekend involving a lot of food, maybe after a vacation, maybe after a night of drinking. How did you punish yourself? Usually, extra cardio, less calories, looking at yourself in the mirror and calling yourself a piece of shit. What would happen if you changed how you thought about that? What would happen if you took the time and became an expert on yourself? An expert of knowing what's realistic, an expert of knowing your mindset, what you need, why you matter. That should be a pretty easy task, but for the average person, it's really not. So, what does that actually look like on a Saturday morning? Because I think that's the question that matters. It's easy to talk about mindset, transformation, and goals in a room like this, but when you get home and the laundry's piling up and dinner needs to be cooked, you're exhausted, your children have to go to X, Y, and Z. What does wellness actually look like, and how can you do it? For me, it started with the smallest things, and I mean genuinely small. Drinking more water, maybe one glass. Going for a walk, not because I had to burn calories, but because it felt good to be outside. Choosing and cooking food at home that gave me energy instead of food that brought emotional comfort and left me feeling like I was in a brain fog. Prioritizing the things that we take for granted every day, like sleep and personal care, and really truly prioritizing me. None of it was dramatic, none of it was Instagram worthy, but it all added up. Here's the part that surprised me the most. When I stopped trying to overhaul my entire life overnight and focused on one or two things that I could actually stick with, everything started to shift. Not fast, not perfectly, not exciting, but consistently. And and consistency, real, boring, unglamorous consistency, turned out to be the most powerful thing I'd ever tried. I want to be clear about something. I'm not standing up here telling you to go home and meal prep 5 days a week or sign up for a gym membership tomorrow. If that's your thing, amazing. But wellness isn't one size fits all, and it shouldn't be. It's about figuring out what works for your life, your schedule, your work life balance, your energy, and giving yourself permission to start there. Even if it feels too small to matter, it freaking matters. One of the things that nobody prepared me for in my own journey was how much it would change the way I saw myself. And I don't mean just physically. When I was at 300 pounds, I'd completely lost touch with who I was outside of my body. My weight had become my identity. It was the first thing that I thought about in the morning and the last thing I thought about at night. It shaped every decision I made, from what I wore to where I sat in a restaurant to whether I even went out at all. Talk about roller coasters. Going to an amusement park and looking at a roller coaster, recognizing I could not fit on it. I began to see myself as a powerful, confident human who was worthy of taking up space in a given situation. I think that's something that a lot of women can relate to, even if the circumstances are different. When your whole world becomes about taking care of everyone else or meeting expectations or just keeping everything from falling apart, it's really easy to lose yourself in that. Your needs go straight to the bottom of the list. Your identity gets swallowed up by your roles, and those roles are important and beautiful, but you're still a person underneath all of that. You still matter outside of what you do for everyone else. Part of what fitness gave me, and I mean real sustainable fitness, not the punishment kind, was a way to reconnect with myself. When I moved my body, I wasn't just burning calories. I was proving to myself that I was worth the time. I was telling myself that my health mattered, that I mattered. And over time, that started to change everything: my confidence, my energy, my relationships, even how I showed up for the people that I love. Taking care of myself didn't take away from anyone else, it actually made me better for them. That's what I want every woman in this room to hear. Taking time for yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. Whether that looks like a workout, a walk, a bath, 10 minutes of silence in your car before you go inside to meet the chaos, whatever it is that helps you feel like you again, you deserve that. Not because you earned it, not because everything else is done, but just because you are a person who matters. The next thing I want to talk about is something that we are all likely really bad at: rest. Actual, intentional, guilt free rest. Would you agree? Probably. We live in a world that glorifies busy. If you're not grinding, you're falling behind. If you're not doing everything for everyone, you're somehow failing. And I bought into that for a long time. Sometimes I still do. I'd push through exhaustion like it was a badge of honor. I'd say yes to everything and wonder why I had nothing left to give at the end of the day. And then I'd feel guilty for being tired, as if being human was some kind of weakness. Here's what I had to learn the hard way: you can't build anything good on an empty tank. Not your health, not your relationships, not your career, not anything. And rest isn't the opposite of progress. Rest is a huge part of progress. Your body isn't a machine that just keeps going. It needs to recover. Your mind needs peace. Your nervous system needs a chance to come down. And when you give yourself that, you actually show up better for everything else. So I know a lot of us struggle with the guilt around it. Like, if we sit down for 20 minutes, we should be doing something productive instead. God forbid you sit down and watch your favorite show for 30 minutes, immediate guilt. But I'd like to challenge that idea today. What if the most productive thing you could do is let yourself recharge? What if taking care of your energy isn't selfish, but actually the most generous thing you can do for the people who depend on you? Because here's the truth: when you're running on empty, the people around you get whatever you have left, which usually isn't much. But when you actually take the time to fill your own cup, even in small ways, the quality of what you give changes completely. You're more patient, you're more present, you're more you. And the people in your life deserve the real you, not the burned out version running on fumes. And that brings me to one of the things that changed my life along this journey. And it's going to sound really boring when I say it, but it's sleep. Seriously, sleep can change everything. I wake up every day, Monday to Friday, at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and that's not a typo. Sometimes it's even earlier if it's a busy day at the gym or if I have a lot of obligations. And the only reason I can do that and still function like a human being is because I take my sleep incredibly seriously. My friends and family will tell you, because it's a running joke, that it's always past Kate's bedtime. If anything happens after 7 p.m., I'm probably already in my pajamas, climbing into bed, mentally checking out, watching Hell's Kitchen because for some reason Gordon Ramsay yelling at people is how I can fall asleep. And I'm not embarrassed about that anymore. I used to be. I used to feel like I was missing out or being boring, or because the sun was still out, I couldn't go to bed. But now I know that protecting my sleep is one of the most important things I do for myself. And here's another thing that most people don't realize: sleep isn't just rest. Sleep is when your body actually does the work. If you're exercising, your muscles repair and rebuild while you sleep. You're trying to lose fat, your body uses all of the work that you've put in through the day and makes your body lose fat, makes your body weigh less even. Your hormones regulate while you sleep. Your brain processes everything from the day and clears out the mental clutter while you sleep. Your immune system strengthens while you sleep. All of that effort that you put in during the day, workouts, healthy eating, water, movement, your body takes all of that and turns it into actual results while you're asleep. Sleep is when the progress happens. I also learned that it's not about how many hours you get. Everyone has a different number. I like to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Josh, you function really well on 6 to 7 hours of sleep. It's more about the quality. I built a bedtime routine that works for me, winding down the same way every night, put the phone away, let my body know it's time to shift gears and watch Hell's Kitchen. And honestly, one of the biggest changes that I made was investing in the right mattress. That sounds like such a simple thing, especially here at a furniture store. But the difference it made in how I felt when I woke up was unreal. I went from waking and hitting the snooze button to actually feeling rested. And when you're getting up at 3:30 in the morning, feeling rested isn't optional, it's everything. Imagine showing up to a gym for your 5 o'clock in the morning workout. You're feeling tired, you haven't slept, your kids were up in the night, and you are greeted by a coach that looks like death, who's also tired, who has no energy to run the class. That is grounds for a crappy workout. Feeling rested is not optional. It's everything for me. We spend about a third of our lives sleeping. So if it's not a priority and worth the care, how do you expect the other 2/3 to be successful? There's one thing I want you to take away from this conversation today. It's this: stop wearing exhaustion like a badge of honor. Stop treating the thing that happens after everything else is, stop treating sleep like the thing that happens after everything else is done. Make it a priority, protect it, build a routine around it, invest in it, because every single thing you're working towards in your health and your life, sleep is the foundation that it's all built on. The other thing I want to leave you with before I close this is you don't have to figure any of this out by yourself. One of the biggest reasons I was able to keep going through the hard days, the setbacks, the self doubt was because I found people who understood. I found community. I found women who were going through the same thing, who were inspired by my story, who would cheer me on when I wanted to quit, who'd tell me the truth when I needed to hear it, and who would just sit with me in the mess without trying to fix it. That community is what eventually became my business. I own a fitness studio now with my husband, Josh, in Peterborough, and everything we've built is rooted in that idea that change doesn't happen in isolation. It happens when you feel supported, when you feel safe, and when you feel like someone genuinely believes in you, even if you don't believe in yourself just yet. It also happens when someone can gently push and challenge you within a gym setting, but doing it in a supportive way. So wherever you find your people, whether it's in a gym, a group like this, a friend who checks in on you, or even just one person who gets it, hold on to that. Because the days where you feel like you can't keep going are the days that that connection will carry you. And if you look around this room for a second, you're sitting in a room full of women who showed up today on a sunny Saturday morning because they care about the same things you care about. That's not nothing. That's a starting point. I want to close with something personal. If I could sit down with the version of myself who was 300 pounds, the one in pain, hiding, who'd given up on herself, I wouldn't give her a meal plan. I wouldn't hand her a gym schedule. I wouldn't tell her to sleep more, drink more water, or just try to do better. I'd look at her in the eyes and tell her that she's worth the fight, that the process is going to be slow and frustrating and imperfect. She's going to fall and get back more times than she can get back up, more times than she can count, but that every single step forward matters, even the most tiny ones. And that's what I want to say to every woman in this room this morning. You're worth it. Not the future version of you that has it all figured out, not the version of you that sleeps 8 hours a night and drinks enough water and exercises 4 times a week. You, right now, exactly as you are, you're already enough. And if you ever decide to take a step toward your health, that's okay. Whatever that looks like for you, just know that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have a plan. You don't have to be ready. You just have to be willing to try. Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to all of your questions. Joshua and scene. That was my speech, my little Kate talk,
Hmm.
women's wellness speech.
Before we get into the questions that were asked during the thing, how does it feel delivering something like that?
Um, really good. It still kind of baffles me that like I'm the one standing up in front of people talking about health and wellness.
Hmm.
Um,
Do you think you would have been interested in hearing someone like you talk?
Interesting. Yes, I do. Um, it would have been really nice to feel like I had that moment watching someone, listening to someone that really helped inspire me. I think way back when at 300 pounds, my health and wellness were not at the forefront of my mind whatsoever. Like it didn't even cross my mind.
Mhm,
So I don't know how I would have been able to get to that. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Like how I would have been able to get to being in front of someone and being able to let myself be inspired.
mhm.
But definitely it would have been a great and eye-opening experience to have someone deliver something like that in front of me
Yeah,
that I actually heard. I guess that's the difference.
yeah.
I could have sat in front of someone and been like, "Yeah, okay, whatever. When's the refreshments coming out?"
Mm. Yeah,
And hearing the message would have been different. Yeah.
yeah. What do you think you would have wanted to hear aside from the personal pieces in that story that you said you wish you had someone saying those things? What what else could you imagine would have been helpful for you to hear?
The piece about that you're worth the fight, you're worth the hard work, you're worth the effort.
Mhm.
Um, and then it's also okay and you're worthy of who you are right now. Like
Yeah.
you're not a piece of crap because you are 300 pounds.
Mhm.
It's okay
Mhm.
if you want change and if you're ready for change, that change can happen.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, something that while I was listening to you give the speech this morning, something that resonated with me was how you talked about giving people the time,
Hmm.
like giving themselves the time to rest or to prioritize themselves in some way.
Hmm.
And I think that message all on its own is worth people reflecting on.
Hmm.
If you're not giving yourself the time to matter, why
Yeah.
try anything?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're not going to be fully into anything
Right. Yeah.
because everything else is the priority, not you.
Hmm. I think
And
that's something that a lot of people struggle with.
mhm. And if everything else is the priority and you're not, what are
Those
you,
priorities are only getting a fraction of
yeah,
what they could.
what are you actually giving to those priorities?
Yeah.
Because it's probably not all you could be giving.
It's the person that has like little to no patience, running on fumes, probably gets,
Reactive.
yeah, reactive, gets really frustrated really easily when really those people in your lives who are taking a lot of the priority right now, they deserve to have you at and not even your best. It doesn't have to be your best, but they just deserve,
To have you at a happy place where
yes.
you're well cared
Yeah,
for.
the version of you that you want to be at.
Yeah, for sure. I think the first question that was asked was, how did the studio come from your journey?
Um, yes. So I kind of dove into how during the pandemic, I ran outdoor boot camps in the park by my house.
Mhm,
And that was the first spark at like, hey, this is really fun.
mhm.
People come, people want this. People don't want to go to a gym and have no idea what to do, or they just stay on like an elliptical or a treadmill. They want to come and move their body with other people and not really have to think about it.
Yeah.
Further to that, we recognized that there was nothing and no one in our community that offered this kind of thing. There are lots of corporate gyms, high intensity gyms, or gyms that just want to take your money and don't want you to actually show up.
Or gyms that are very intense with people that are competitive in some
Yes.
way, in
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But our community didn't have a gym for the people who just wanted to try and wanted to move their body and wanted to do it in a safe place. Um, so while, yes, the studio and the brand was built off of that transformation that I had,
Hmm.
I feel like it's also built on the things that we wish that we had access to when we were starting out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's you. I gave you a lot of props too, and I've given you many props in this podcast for the fact that this gym even is what it is and that it exists is also because you were the one in my corner saying,
Do it.
"We've got something here. You have to do it. Don't go back to the classroom. Are you stupid?"
I don't think I said it quite in that way, but
Yeah, I think
sure.
you kind of had to shake me a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, any major life decision, and there are people that will be able to validate this. Anytime there's a major life decision that has to happen for you, usually involves an awful lot of tears and second guessing and worry and anxiety and all kinds of stuff.
It's hard to go out of your comfort zone.
It is. It's very hard
Eating
to go.
my own words.
Yeah.
Get comfortable being uncomfortable. That
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah. The other thing that I think we've recognized more so recently, but I think it's worth mentioning, and it's not something that came up during the question and answer period, but the overall lack of awareness and lack of place for women to become strong.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that,
Emphasis on strong there.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Good
that
point.
really, I think, if we're looking at the pillars of what we are, that's a big one,
Yeah.
is creating a space for women to become strong and powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. In the gym,
Mhm.
but also in the virtual programming, a huge component of
Yeah.
all of my virtual programming too is you got to work out.
Mhm.
You got to follow this plan. You got to do strength training. If you're at home, you need dumbbells.
Yeah.
If you're at a gym, here's your program to follow.
Yeah.
And honestly, the cardio that I give people for the virtual programming, it literally says optional.
Hmm.
It's optional.
Yeah.
But strength training, not optional.
Strength training is not optional. There was an interesting moment this morning in the question and answer period where you had a moment with one of the listeners who shared a little bit about their story.
Yeah.
Do you want to share a bit about that?
Yeah. Um, I don't know that she started. I think it was her husband.
It might have been. I mean, we're the big cheerleaders.
um, yeah, so there was an older couple in the audience, and I think it was him, Bob, shared that his wife lost a lot of weight as well. And she was, it's so funny because in the moment, like we're cheering for Bob's wife. I didn't catch her name, but she's so quick to downplay it, which I
Hmm.
think is something that I know that I do that.
Yeah.
But she's like, yeah, I lost like 100 pounds, but I wasn't like not as much as you. And I'm like,
It wasn't
listen,
as hard as you
yeah,
with her words.
not as hard as you. You lost 100 pounds. Own that shit. Like that's
Yeah.
great. That's exciting. Um,
And then she went on to say that she ran a half
yes,
marathon,
then
and
she
it's like,
became she no, she said, someone suggested for her to try running, and she said, I didn't think I could run. And I said, and let me tell you, I bet you became a runner. She said, yeah, I ran half marathons, da da da. Da. Then she said, I can't run now. Um, obviously she was
yeah.
older for sure. Um, but we later found out that she is a very active woman in Aquafit.
Hmm.
Um,
She's still active now,
yeah, I
and
think she said 3, 4 times a week.
yeah, she looked great.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And as she was walking out, she said, while I may not have lost like the same amount of weight, again, downplaying it, she said, I kept it off. And I said, that right there is the difference maker. That right there. It doesn't matter how much weight you lost.
Yeah.
You became a healthy version of yourself and you've maintained and kept that off. Like
Mhm.
that is something that not many people can say.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Um, was there a moment in the question and answer period where someone asked you something that might have felt a bit harder than you were expecting?
Um, I didn't like, is that bad to say? I didn't really like when the lady asked if I have kids.
Mhm.
Um,
I think it downplays the magnitude of your achievement to say that you couldn't have done it without
and
kids
that's exactly
or
the
with
message that she
kids.
was trying to get across. She's like, "Do you have kids? Because um, if you did, you wouldn't be able to get up at 3:30 in the morning." And I said, "Okay,
I disagree.
my routine might not work for the next person. At no point would I ever say that it has to. What matters is each person can find a way to be successful in their own lives. And then I went on to say that the busiest hour here at this gym is at 5 o'clock in the morning, and it is full of moms, teachers, full time employment, like the working class who are choosing to get up at the butt crack of dawn
Yeah.
and work out before the day starts.
Here's the reality. And
She didn't mean it in like
no,
she
she
didn't
didn't
mean it
mean
in
it
a
in a
rude
negative way.
way.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. And I don't think in the moment you took it that way, and neither did I. But thinking about it now, something I wish I had have said is, if Kate needed to be up at 3:30 in the morning, I'd be the one that was awake at night
Fair. Yeah.
so that you
Yeah.
could go to bed
Yeah.
on
Tag
time,
teaming it. Yeah. Yeah.
because we're
Absolutely.
a team and your goals and the things that are important to you are important to me as well.
Yeah.
And when I have my things going on, you'd be taking the lead in the other way.
Hmm.
Like it's a reciprocal relationship where we support each other.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I wish I had have said that, because I think that that is something that when people say, well, you don't have kids, so you wouldn't know. The reality is it doesn't matter
Yeah.
what would be going on in
Yeah.
our lives. We would support each other to make sure the important things get done, the
Yeah.
non-negotiables
Yeah.
get
Could have
attended to.
said, actually, lady, I run this gym
Mhm.
and it is busy all day long. I manage multiple, like, what am I at? Like 30 virtual clients right now. Like, in fact, going to bed early and
Mhm.
waking up early is what works. And going to bed early means that I am putting off certain things until the next day.
Yeah.
I am getting up early because it matters to me to be here when it matters most to the clients. We
Yeah.
never, in the beginning, we didn't even have a 5 a.m. boot camp. We started at 6 a.m. And then the people gave feedback. Well, what about 5 a.m.? What? You guys want to come here at 5 a.m.? Absolutely. If they want to work out in the morning, they have to.
Yeah.
They have to.
Yeah. For sure.
And how to energize yourself for the day?
Have a workout.
Literally get a workout in.
Yeah.
Even if you slept like shit, having that workout in the morning is going to make your day better. Guaranteed.
If you think to yourself, I'm going to be tired, you're going to be tired regardless
Yeah.
if you work out or not.
Yeah.
Go and have, even if it's not your best workout, at least you're consistently getting
Still
there.
matters. Yeah.
It still matters. Remember, like the message, a core message in what you said was, it doesn't have to be perfect,
Yeah.
just needs to be consistent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's important to remember. Is there a question you wish someone had asked that wasn't asked?
Um, uh, I not really. I feel like maybe like how my programming is built around, yes, what works, but in a way that I am relatable to the people,
Yeah.
right? Like, because I feel like I'm going back to virtual clients, especially, but also, you know what, it tracks for in person as well. Um, when I give a program, it is curated for that person, but a lot of the foundational things are the same for everyone. Everyone has a step goal.
Hmm.
Everyone has a water goal.
Yeah.
Like those things, those fundamental healthy habits are the same for everyone. So when I'm touching base with those clients, they don't feel ashamed to be fully honest with me. They come with their reflective lens on, they come with accountability, they come with honesty, even if it was a garbage and shit week for them. And instead of where a lot of coaches would, I don't know, kind of like ridicule them and make them feel bad and tell them, well, here is what you have to do. Instead, when I meet them after a crappy week, I'm like, okay, let's unpack this. Yes, what can we do? But what is also going to be realistic? We might need to break down those habits even more, break down the layers even more to make them achievable.
Hmm.
Um, So I guess maybe it would have been nice to have some questions around that.
Hmm.
Like how do I differ as a coach and a trainer from, yeah, like everyone else?
Yeah. I think that's a good thing to want to be asked. And yeah, there was a point when you were delivering that to everyone at the thing
Yep. At the
where
thing.
you kind of broke down a little bit.
Yeah. One
And
paragraph.
yeah, and you looked at someone in the audience and told them to stop crying,
um,
it's because she's just a really
yes.
close friend, and if you look up and see her crying, you're gonna cry even more than you already
Yes.
were.
Um,
Tell me about what that was like in the moment for you.
so you when I delivered not this speech, but a similar speech, you're like, "You're gonna cry, you're gonna cry." And I'm like, "No, like, bitch, please, I'm not gonna cry." I definitely cried.
Yeah,
Even so, leading up to this one, as I was reading through it and kind of practicing, you were like, "Hey, like, you're gonna cry." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. Like, I haven't cried a single time as I'm reading this." And you're like, "Yeah, yeah, it's different when you're actually in it."
yeah. It's different when you're actually sharing that message and it is so real and
Yeah.
true to who you are.
Yeah. So it was one paragraph. It was when I was talking about what if I could sit down with 300-pound Kate. I wouldn't give her a diet plan. I wouldn't give her.
Yeah, you
Um,
can read it again so people can hear it again.
so the paragraph that I got choked up on, I want to close with something personal. If I could sit down with the version of myself who was 300 pounds in pain, hiding, who'd given up on herself, I wouldn't give her a meal plan. I wouldn't hand her a gym schedule. I wouldn't tell her to sleep more, drink more, try harder, or do better. I just look at her in the eyes and tell her that she's worth the fight. That the process is going to be slow and frustrating and imperfect. She's going to fail more times and get back up more times than she can count. But that every single step forward matters, even the tiny ones.
Why do you think it's so emotional for you to share that with people?
Um,
I can tell you why I think, but I wanna hear why you think it's
I
so
think that
difficult.
I didn't think I was worth the fight back
Mhm,
then. And screw you, Josh. And now really want people to believe that they are.
mhm.
And even me, like, I didn't think I was worth the fight. I just thought that, my body was broken and this is just the way that I was gonna have to live my life.
This is what life is.
Yeah, like, there was no fight because I wasn't worth it, whereas now I can say, like, "You are worth the fight." Every single person with whatever it is you want to do, you are literally fucking worth the fight.
Mhm,
I think that's the kind of part that I get choked up on. But I think it comes from like passion. Like I
mhm,
believe it's so deep to my core. It hurts. It hurts me to hear people say that in many ways, but that they're not worth the fight. It hurts me so much now, but I wasn't worth the fight
mhm.
at 300 pounds.
So I'm gonna link this to something that happens for you
Me
within
personally?
the gym, yeah.
Okay.
When you get messages from people that aren't coming for their sessions, how much of this is happening
To them.
when you hear those things that sometimes can be excuses or reasons why they're not making it to their session, how much is it that you're reflecting back, "You're telling me you're not worth it?"
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
And do you think that that is why it becomes such a emotional sort of reaction for you?
Yeah. And I think the emotions are kind of on a spectrum. Like, yeah, sometimes I feel really fucking sad for the person. There are other times where I get mad and I just want to shake them because come on. Like
Mhm.
I believe it more than they do for themselves. I believe in them more than they do.
Yeah, well, I think a big part of, and this is true for me in my role, a big part of what we do when we're helping people make any kind of change in their life is we have to initially be the ones who hold that hope.
Mhm.
And sometimes you see someone do the things that are so good and they're walking down the path and then they blow it all up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that can be really hard to watch happen.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to kind of reflect that back as I think you see when that crops up for people where that belief of I'm not worth it
Mhm.
comes out.
Mhm.
Everything else is more important. I'm going to just shut it down and
I
shrink my
can't I
world to
can't do
what
this.
everyone
Yeah.
else's needs are. And that's just, it's truthfully, it's not sustainable. I think for both of us, there the shift that's happened from the beginning of our relationship to where we are now is we put ourselves first
Mhm.
and then we care for each other,
Mhm.
and we're able to give each other so much more
Yes.
care because of that.
And we respect each other
Yeah,
so much for that.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a cost to you allowing yourself to be that visible, that raw, and really acknowledge that there was a time when you felt like you were worthless, when you felt like you didn't matter?
I think having experienced that, it allows me to have such a strong passion that I do about it right now.
Yeah. So
Um,
that's really what it gives back to you.
yeah. Yeah.
But is there a cost associated with that for you? Are there times when that creeps back in for you? Are there times when it takes a toll to share that message?
Yeah, I think sometimes when it takes a toll, I think it comes back to my personality of trying to fix everyone and everything, um, and believing in those people more than they believe in yourself. Because then when it's not their time and when they do let it roll off fall off the tracks, like that affects me,
Mhm.
um, in my emotional state. Yeah.
Was there a time when it felt like you didn't want to include any of that stuff?
No,
No?
no. I think
Okay.
it's
What makes you want to include it?
I was and still am the underdog, and
Mhm.
I did it. I'm a I'm a nobody, just your average Joe, your average person who did something when it comes to health and wellness that a lot of people can't. Um,
I think everyone can. I think that
a lot of people think they can't. Sorry, I
yes.
forgot that word. A lot of people
Yeah.
think they can't. Um, yeah. So I think it's always important for me to include it because it's who I am, where I came from.
Mhm.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah. What another theme that is in that speech is, yeah, it's around women being stuck in the idea that everyone else needs to come first, and that they need to just make themselves secondary, and that they need to everything needs to look good. They
Mhm.
need to almost have like a performance that everything's great.
Mhm.
Where
Sometimes I think I do.
Mhm,
Sometimes if I'm struggling in whatever way, I there are times where I don't feel like I can show my struggles,
mhm,
um, because of the active, positive, pump up nature of the work here. Um, I will say that there are a lot of people who come here who can see through that.
mhm,
So if I, for some reason, am giving off like she seems okay, but I don't think she is, I will receive messages for sure from people who just know me really well and be like, "Hey, something was off.
what's going on?
What's going on?"
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's the beauty of having such a caring and compassionate
mhm,
community
mhm.
built around
Yeah.
all of this.
Yeah, and like you say, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to let the walls down.
Mhm. I think the asking for help is easier for me than it is for you.
Yes.
I think that's fair to say. I
Yes.
think you do build walls up a lot and try to handle things on your own as much as you can.
Yeah. I think I get that from my dad.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. So I guess the last question that I have for you is,
I really can't see the screen this time.
yeah, I like it.
It's
It's
bothering
so
me.
much better. What would you say to someone that's listening to this or listening to your speech that is still stuck in that all or nothing thought process? Because the way you describe, before Kate, there was an awful lot of all or nothing. I
Mhm.
had to punish myself if
Mhm.
I ever stepped off of things. I had to do everything perfectly. That all or nothing mindset. What would you say to them if they feel like they're not able to break out of that trap?
Well, I feel like it would be a really quick conversation because I would say, "Has the all or nothing worked?
Hmm.
Has it worked?" Because if it has, you wouldn't be here right now. You wouldn't be asking me these questions right now. You wouldn't be
Yeah.
coming to me. Um, so when you say that you have an all or nothing mindset, the first thing to do is recognize that that does not work. It
Hmm.
is not working. It has not worked. Um, we have to break it down even more.
Hmm.
Have to break it down even more.
Yeah.
Um, I wish I could pull up my phone because I just had this conversation with a virtual client yesterday.
Perfect. Yeah. That I don't pull your phone out, but it's
Yeah,
perfect that
yeah.
it happens and you have these conversations. Like that's
It's
really proof of how real this stuff is.
it's been a conversation. It's actually been an addition to her weekly check-in. We talk specifically every week about the all or nothing mindset.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you had the all or nothing mindset? Or when things didn't go the perfect way,
Yeah.
what did you do? Were you able to navigate it? And I've worked with her um, this block of time. It's been 16 weeks.
Yeah.
And the shift for her um, in that last 16 weeks has been pretty huge.
That's good.
Being able to, yeah,
Yeah. It's an interesting concept where people are coming to you for help and support in making a lifestyle change. And one of the first things you say to them is, I want you to stop trying to be perfect.
yeah, yeah. Stop trying to be perfect. What you think you know,
Forget it.
forget it. Forget
Yeah.
it. We're starting again. I'm asking you to relearn, reevaluate,
Yeah.
relearn your,
Everything. Like
yeah.
it's right down to like a very key part of that your whole message is break everything down and learn to prioritize yourself, build from a foundation of making sure you're getting good and adequate rest, fueling your body properly, becoming strong, long lasting independence.
Yeah. And that those small, even seemingly
Insignificant.
insignificant things
Yeah.
have a huge, huge, huge role in the long term. It's a marathon, man. It's a
Yeah.
fucking marathon.
It is.
You don't you don't sign up for a marathon and just go for it the next day. You
Yeah.
shouldn't. That's a recipe for disaster. But instead, you start small, you build it up, and then you run the marathon.
Yeah. I have one more question, but
Oh
it's
god.
it's from you to me that I wrote in my notes. It's a question that you will have for me.
Ah, okay. So funny. As we were doing this podcast, I actually had a question
Okay.
for you.
You can ask me both. Start with yours and then do the one that I wrote down.
um, well, I don't even know what the question would be, but you fell in love with 300-pound Kate.
Yeah, I did.
Now she's like, my math's not great, but like half that person.
Yeah.
Um, what's the T?
You've always been you.
Mhm.
Even at your heaviest, you were still who you are today. with a bright, beautiful, vibrant personality that brings people to you. And I never saw the 300 pounds. I never saw the things that you saw that you were unhappy with. I saw the person that cared about me, that put me in really good positions, that loved me, that encouraged me to be better every day, that I could not imagine a single day of my life being without.
Hmm.
I saw all of that before you lost the weight. Now I see you as your happiest self, doing the thing that you were made to do and inspiring people and supporting women to be strong, powerful people. And it makes me very proud every day to be able to say that
Hmm.
you're with me.
Cute. Not you getting choked up.
A little bit.
Oh, thanks, babe.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Want me to ask this next question?
Sure.
What's one thing this whole experience has shown you about your wife?
That she's stronger than I ever knew she could be.
Thanks.
Yeah.
How are we supposed to close out the podcast when we're both blubbering idiots?
I don't know. Well, I hope everybody stuck around to hear the end of this one because it's a doozy. But yeah, I guess the takeaway from this whole thing, and
Three words.
I bet every single episode of this podcast you could summarize it in this as well.
3 words.
Yeah, go ahead.
You are enough.
You are enough.
You're enough. You are worth it. You are enough is 3 words. You're
And
worth it is 4 words.
yeah, you are worth it.
You're worthy of the life that you have now. You're also allowed to change it if you want. You're
And
allowed to.
stop trying to be perfect.
Yeah.
No one is perfect.
Mhm.
I look at Kate and I it's not perfection that I see. I love her for all of the beautiful imperfections. I love her for how she cares too much. I love her for some of her insecurities.
You are enough.
Mhm.
I suppose that's what the episode needs to be called.
Yeah, I think
Mm.
so.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We're all like sappy pappy now.
Yeah,
Um
I'm gonna get beat when the camera comes off.
wow, that's the real us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe, 5-star reviews. Please give us any feedback, any questions.
Yeah, let us know
Um,
what you think.
we really got to get that special guest. I'm going to work
Yeah,
on that this week.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta somehow sweeten the deal. I think like maybe a case of energy drinks or something.
White monsters.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for watching.